Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the planetary transits for the month of August. Before I begin, I just want to say I will be talking about the sidereal or astronomical placements as used in Vedic astrology. If you're new to this channel, hi! I'm RoseAnna. I'm a Vedic astrologer talking about planetary transits and new and full moon updates. So if you're interested in that, you can subscribe below. You can also find me over on Instagram at Starlight Inspiration, where I post new astrology content every week. So last month brought a lot of attention to our relationships and our creativity and the way we express our passion as a Venus turned retrograde, which is quite a significant transit as it doesn't occur too often. But this month will continue the theme of Venus retrograde, and Venus will also change signs. It will move backwards from Leo and into Cancer, turning our attention even more to the emotional aspects of all of those things that pertains to this. So it will be quite a significant transit this month. And we will also have Mars changing sign again this month. So that's another important transit that we will be discussing. But first off, we have Venus retrograde. And Venus turned retrograde in the about July 23rd, I believe it was, that Venus turned retrograde in the sign of Leo. And so we still have that during the first week of August, but then it will move backwards into Cancer. And so when Venus is retrograde, we always have an opportunity to take pause and reflect, especially on those things pertaining to our relationships, whether our relationships are in a state of harmony and balance, or if there's a discrepancy between how much energy we put into our relationships and how much energy we receive in turn. And so when Venus moves into Cancer, it will take us like even deeper within when it comes to those things, because it will bring into light our emotional aspects concerning this. So it could bring into light our emotional attitudes, either pertaining to our relationships or pertaining to our creativity and the way we express our creativity and how we pursue our passion in our lives. So, because Venus is actually, it's a planet that that just wants to feel good and be happy, and that can be sort of restless, and I believe it's quite easy to get stuck in a, the grass is always greener kind of thinking with Venus. So it is also important while Venus is retrograding to also keep in mind that we don't get too caught up in the filtering everything through our either through our ego or through our what would you say, more materialistic desires, that because it's easy to feel with Venus that we're never really content. There's always the next best thing and the next best thing, and so, and this will also be put into focus, especially because Venus will also be transiting quite close to the Sun between August 7th and 18th. So during this time, Venus will also be combusted by the Sun. And this is when Venus transits too close to the somewhat harsh or strong rays of the Sun that will overpower Venus' own energy and its own expression. So the most the highest sense of this would be where Venus gets more in touch with the truest desires of our soul, like our soul expression, because the soul, the Sun is the soul. It's the universal soul and our individual soul that is in connection to the universal soul. So in astrology, the Sun also represents the longing of our soul. But the lower aspect of the sun can be that it's not the soul's desire we are following, but rather the ego's desires. So it could be the individual desires that rather stems from our egotistical desires, or the materialistic desires that we have in this life. So either Venus could get closer to the higher expression and becoming more calibrated with the inner desires, or let's say our soul's desires, but it could also be more filtered by, in the lower expression, it could be more filtered with like our ego's desires. And because the ego is what, let's say it's what makes us self-centered. So in that regard, Venus would be more concerned with, what am I getting? You know, what's in it for me when it comes to our relationships, I guess especially, but even when it comes to how we seek creativity and beauty, and how we pursue projects or things in life that makes us feel happy and that makes us feel good, that allows us to express our creativity. That also falls under the domain of Venus. So it could be either or here. And Venus retrograding back into Cancer, of course done with the sun, but even so it could be that if we have, because Cancer is it's like our inner core, our inner emotional core, the things that are either closest to our heart, but also the things that we protect most fiercely, or those emotions that we rather would not share with the outside world. It could also pertain to emotional wounds. So Venus retrograding here could bring into light old wounds that we've been carrying that haven't been resolved or healed. And so it could also pertain to if we have emotional needs, or let's say emotional needs within our relationships that aren't being met, or perhaps those sort of needs that we haven't been feeling either secure enough or courageous enough to express, or even to vocalize, those things that we keep so close to the vest that we're not really even giving our partner the chance to help us with this, because we haven't even uttered the words. Those kind of things could also be coming into light with Venus retrograding back into Cancer. So it could be quite an emotionally intense transit, and it could be even more intense as Venus will be combusted by the sun. The next big transit we will have is Mercury and Mars moving closer and closer together, and they will be in a conjunction between August 10th to August 18th. So between this time, Mars and Mercury will be in a conjunction in Leo. And so Mercury will be doubly affected by fire at this time, because it will be close to the fiery planet Mars, but also in the fiery sign of Leo. So this will fire up our communication and fire up Mercury's expression, which is also pertaining to our intellect and our way of communicating and our way of expressing ourselves and our way of thinking even. So this could be a time where we feel much more either fired up about our beliefs, or more prone to expressing our opinions and prone to engaging in either debates, or like intellectual debates, or where we just feel more compelled to make our voices heard and our opinions heard, and it can make us more fired up about those things. So I would say perhaps here it's a good time for practicing discernment, like thinking or knowing when it's best to hold back and take a step back and perhaps not engaging, and when it's a good time for expressing our opinions. But the thing is perhaps to not also get too fired up about our opinions at this time, and making sure our communication stems from a place of like authenticity and well, inspiration. And if we have the ability to remain let's say balanced when it comes to when and when not to express our opinions, and not becoming too attached and too fired up about our opinions, I would say that this feels like an inspired transit, because Mercury is also the planet that seeks intellectual stimulation, and that makes us curious and makes us want to, like, makes us hungry for knowledge and partaking in new ideas. And so it could be a very inspired transit, actually. I believe that it could be a good time for new ideas bubbling and new inspiration coming, and a good time to focus and channel all that fiery energy toward our creative projects and our either passion projects or creative pursuits, perhaps, or well, channeling it into our creativity, our creative outlets, let's say. Then Mars will move into Virgo on August 18th, and Mars will sort of bring the passionate, fiery, creative energy of Leo and taking it into practical, analytical Virgo, where we're more inclined to make you know, practical steps, take the next practical steps in our projects, and make things more structured and logical. And so Mars can be kind of what would you say, pragmatic and a little bit square. But in Virgo, this could make for a good organizing skills, you know, creating new routines, creating more structure in our lives, perhaps, or becoming more vigilant and more discerning with, like, the things that we do every day and the sort of routines that we build every day, because Mars is also a planet that's good for building routines, building habits, and that can make us more disciplined even in those sort of actions that we do every day. So a little bit square, but that could be good for, you know, keeping ourselves in check, keeping things orderly, keeping things structured, keeping things yeah, creating new habits, creating routines, or creating new strategies for all of those things. And Mars is also a planet that's very solution oriented. So in analytical and structured, organized Virgo, here could be a good time for identifying the next practical steps to take in our projects, in our work, in our endeavors, and to tackle all of those obstacles or problems that we've run into that perhaps have put the brakes on our projects. But now we could get the sort of mental, like, fire and orientation and solution, finding solutions to how we would go about working through all of those things. So it could be a good time for that as well. Then Mercury will turn retrograde on August 23rd in the sign of Leo. And so Mercury, this will be the third retrograde cycle in the fire signs that has been occurring this year, as Mercury has been retrograding within the fire signs. And so this time it will be in the sign of Leo. And so Mercury retrograding, it's a chance for us to take a step back, take a pause, realign, and to, especially when it comes to, like, our mind, our the thought concepts that we operate under, our ideas, our way of thinking, the structures, like the mental structures that we sort of live by. And Mercury is also the planet that is, well, now it's in Leo, but Mercury is a planet that's quite neutral, and so and this is because Mercury is what gives us the ability to observe ourselves, observe our way of thinking, and making sure that we are staying true to ourselves, that we are in fact thinking in a way that's productive and that makes us helps us to move forward. And so in Leo, this pertains more to when it comes to our inspiration, our passion, our creativity. It could be pertaining to our children, and it could be pertaining to passion, like in the sense of our relationships also. But our way of thinking about all of those things will be more in the spotlight. And so Mercury is also the planet that provides us, or it's that planet that concerns our inner story, or the story that we tell ourselves about our life, and that explains the way we act for ourselves, you know. And it could be, let's call it our inner narrator. So, and if we carry a lot of limiting beliefs, let's say, when it comes to those things like pertaining to our creative expression, or our ability to express ourselves, or our ability even to pursue those passion projects that we wish we would, or how we pursue our goals, or our dreams, or our creativity even. So if we carry a lot of beliefs such as I don't have enough talent, or I don't have the courage to do that, or I'm not good enough to do that, and you know, all of those thoughts that sort of limit or put the lid on our potential, or our potential to carry out and follow our inspiration, let's say. So this could be a good time to reevaluate and observe our way of thinking, so that we get more in tune and align with the truth, and a good time to change some of those inner thoughts and those inner beliefs. It could also be a time where we are sort of putting the light on, or reevaluating which things that actually brings us the most joy, because Mercury is also a planet that wants to feel inspired, and that makes us curious, and that wants to delve into finding more knowledge and finding more creative inspiration. And so here could also be a time where we're sort of questioning what things brings us the most joy, and which things make us feel naturally most inspired, or that sparks our curiosity, like our inner curiosity, and reevaluating all of those things, and perhaps getting more in touch with what really brings us the most joy. So to end this update, this feels like a month where the focus really is getting more in touch with our inner inspiration, like what is the true source of our inspiration and joy and creativity, and becoming more in touch with that and more aligned with that, and incorporating more of that into our daily lives. So that was it for this update. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please leave a like or a comment down below, or even share the video, as that really helps support the channel. If you want to read more about these transits, you are most welcome to visit my blog at starlightinspiration.com/blog, where you can read more about it. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Bye.